In this video we will cover the pistols of Mass Effect Andromeda as well as the augments and the mods to use with them to best aid you in your playstyle. If you like these kinds of videos, be sure to hit that like button. It lets me know what kind of videos you want to see, and if you haven't already, maybe think about subscribing. Without further delay, let's get right into the video. Pistols are semi-automatic sidearms. They should be precise, have reasonable power and be fairly light. I've always been a big fan of pistols in first-person shooters, originally coming to love them in Halo, so I'm very much looking forward to getting into this testing and going all out to find the best overall hand cannons. Pistols being tested in this video are the Sidewinder, Ushior, Carniflex, M-3 Predator and the Phalanx. SMGs can be found in a separate video that focuses purely on them. This video is linked at the top right now on PC and mobile. The link can also be found in the description. The N7 Eagle, Talon and Scorpion test can be found in a special pistols video, also linked to the top right of the screen and in the description. All tests will be performed on normal difficulty on rank 2 weapons. The pistol skills in the combat skills trees maxed out with the settings on screen. The combat fitness skills in the combat skills trees also maxed out with the settings on screen now. Team support skills and tech skills trees maxed out with a few points thrown into biotics for no weapon damage gain to gain the adept profile so as to not affect the tests. No other skills will be taken. Tests will be performed at level 32 in case you are curious to the sponginess of mobs, but to keep things balanced the guns will be compared to each other, rendering the enemy level moot. The mods for these weapons are the same as all pistols and SMGs: barrel, receiver, scope and magazine, unless you wish to melee, at which point popping the melee optimizer in exchange for a receiver or magazine, depending on the gun in question. The Sidewinder appears to be a very nicely balanced weapon. 140 damage, which is about right for pistol expectations, a nice 350 rate of fire so you won't be held back when going for the fast precise headshots, a clip size of 8, which if you don't count the Ushior is on the low side, but I'd hasten to say it's medium. 8 is certainly acceptable for a pistol. Max ammo is 54, which is actually pretty good, so even at rank 2 it has very usable ammo numbers, only getting better with the ranks. The accuracy is where it is let down at 52, but we can do something about that, and its weight is a very nice 7. The main issue to fix with this gun is accuracy. Even at higher levels it won't be amazing, so a number of augments can be used to fix this, namely the Seeking Plasma system and the electrical conduits augments. I'm very curious to see how the electrical conduits will perform on a semi-automatic. It will either be a consistent damage boost against shields or an ineffective waste of time. We're going to try a few builds on this first set of tests to set the standard for the others. The vanilla that is in the background, usually first tested, will be amped up a little, becoming the vanilla stacked. This is just a no behaviour augments weapon with no vintage or bio. It will consist of an equilibrium regulator giving a 5% damage increase when moving slowly and a 10% increase when moving quickly. A double mod extension and kinetic core to fill will also be present. This will be the case for all vanilla stacked builds. The first build will consist of an electrical conduit, double mod extension and a kinetic coil. The second build will consist of Seeking Plasma system, double mod extension and kinetic coil. The third build will have a sticky grenade, vintage heatsink and double mod extension, with the last having plasma charge system, vintage heatsink and double mod extension. The vanilla stack showed amazing promise. Its shots did very nice damage and the rate of fire was perfect for quick precision shooting. The accuracy really wasn't an issue at close to medium range, which is the kind of distance you'll be using this weapon, as the scope adds a lot there. One important thing that it did show is that the ammunition is in very short supply for this weapon. The initial reserves appeared to be enough, but it all went just so fast. A vintage or bio converter is absolutely necessary for this weapon. That being said, at the top of rank, especially with a few skills to help, would give a far better experience ammo wise, and may be satisfactory. The reload isn't horrendous, and purely as a sidearm could be very useful. But if you are below level 60 or so, then you'll likely need a vintage heatsink or bio converter. The electrical conduits proved to be ineffective. It actually lowered the damage considerably, emptying the entire reserves before killing more than 3 enemies. The Seeking Plasma system kind of did its thing, but its slow projectile speed actually made the accuracy worse at close range, as mobs are often moving, meaning you have to shoot its future ghost to be able to stand a chance of hitting it. This is a long range augment. The stick grenade did less damage, quite a bit less, rendering the usefulness of its stun not good enough for the trade-off. Plasma charge was underwhelming, once again the charge leading to a lesser damage per second and not being all that extra, and the normal shots dealing less than a vanilla weapon makes this a no-go for me. I actually really like this weapon, but with no behaviour changing augments, outside of bio or vintage. If you wish to use this weapon, stack it with double mods and coils. If your level is high, then great, use a special augment slot for something cool like aerial optimizer or equilibrium regulator, or a consumable buffing augment. But if it's a low rank, you are definitely going to need either a vintage heatsink or bio converter for the unlimited ammo aspect. The Carniflex is a much loved pistol by many. I'm often hearing about it in the comments and looking at the stats. I can see why. Its damages are quite decent, 271, its rate of fire is low at 100, but on a pistol being a precise close range weapon, I would prefer higher damage per shot with a low rate of fire. The clip size is an acceptable 8 with a maximum ammo 46. Now, while the max ammos are lower than the Sidewinder, the damage is higher, nearly double, meaning that you get a lot more bang for your buck and can kill more enemies before needing to pick up some ammo. That being said, at the low and mid levels, estimated up to about 50 or so, ammo is definitely a concern and would be best engaged with a vintage or bio converter, bio always being the top choice but requiring team support and tech skill tree. But at the top ranks, the ammunition will certainly be enough. The accuracy is an acceptable 66, at close range 66 is enough. The Sidewinder proved this, being a far lower 52, yet hitting almost every shot with a rank 5 scope active. Polish that off with a lovely light 7 for the weight and you've got an attractive weapon. Previous tests on the Sidewinder proved that electrical conduits just don't work on a semi-automatic weapon. Also, the stick grenade is a bit of a bust for most also. Though will make an appearance for our very low damage pistol coming up, plasma charge was a little underwhelming and for all but the Ushior and the aforementioned low damage weapon will not be tested. And the seeking plasma system was also found to be a little pointless at close range. If you're going long range, just don't use a pistol. So the augment tests will simply be via stacked damage. The first stacked with an equilibrium regulator and double mod extension, with the second hosting a bio converter and a double mod extension. The stacked equilibrium build was fantastic. It takes a little getting used to with the rate of fire as it is on the slow siding for precision shots. But once you're used to it, this gun is rather good for a run and gun approach, cracking headshots as you make your way through the middle of their camp. The ammunition at low ranks is absolutely an issue, but provided there are pods around, this is not an issue. An alternative that could definitely work with those finding the rate of fire a little too slow would be to use an aerial augment that increases rate of fire by 35% when hovering, instead of the equilibrium. This would allow you to jump up and hover to get some shots in, then drop back behind cover to recharge your shields. The second build with the bio converter proved very effective for shooting in general, but also from behind cover. The shooting over cover is surprisingly accurate at close range and not bad at all at medium, keeping you behind cover and lessening the risk that comes with using the bio converter. I don't see this gun being on my loadout, but it's certainly fun and definitely usable. So far my testing with the pistols has been a happy time. The M3 Predator is where it starts to look a bit dire. Its damage is a minuscule 49 with a high but not high enough rate of fire of 450. So far it's built like a kinda crappy SMG but doesn't even have an automatic function. The clip size is 21 with ammo reserves of 135, the accuracy is 61 and the weight an absolutely tiny 4. The stats of this weapon scream horrible weapon, but as it's 4 weight it'll make a crappy little backup. But it needs testing. Can't judge a weapon by its stats. Or you can, as that's what they're for. The augment tests for this one will include the sticky grenade and plasma charge, as if there's any hope for this weapon, it's that one of those will up its damage. The first build will be the typical equilibrium regulator with double mod extension. The second is a bio converter and double mod extension. Third with the sticky grenade and double mod, finishing with the plasma charge and double mod extension. This weapon is kinda awful as expected. By the time I'd cleared the 2 camps with the equilibrium regulator build, my wrist was quite sore from clicking so damn much and so quickly. Even with that pro skills wrist action, the mobs died so slowly. The bio converter was no better, in fact it actually had a little more to do with no break for reloading. The sticky grenade gave no increase to damage unfortunately, but it looked damn pretty. The plasma charge gave a very slight increase to damage but nowhere near enough to make this gun worth using, though this too was very pretty. After all is said and done, even at 4 weight this gun is pointless. If anyone has found some crazy way of making it be of use, I'd love to know it. At first glance the Phalanx looks like a great midpoint between the Carniflex and the Sidewinder. The damage is decent, being a little lower than the Sidewinder, and the rate of fire, while lower than the Sidewinder by a fair bit, seems about perfect for that precision run and gun, or just plain point and headshot from a standstill. The clip size of 17 being double both of the other guns kind of fixes that ammo issue. So far it's looking great really. 108 max ammo is pretty good, be great at top rank, and the accuracy is a decent 61. I say decent as at close range that's really not all that bad when you throw a scope on too. Leaving the weight as a balmy 7. Everything looks very well balanced, let's see what needs to be fixed the most. Just the damage really, and that can be sorted with some stackable goodness. Unfortunately there's only 2 slots by default, so double mod slot has to be 1, as those mods add such value. The second should be a special augment. Consumable ammunition could be good here as the clip is extended compared to most, meaning more bang per consumable. For this test we'll go with an equilibrium to test the run and gun, and an aerial performance stabilizer to test out some hover shots from cover. If you didn't want to worry about ammo, a bioconverter would be great, but this gun needs it the least out of all other semi-automatic pistols. The Phalanx was, as expected, quite good and well balanced in combat. The ammunition, either at low ranks, was sufficient, as well as the clip size. The damage was low but certainly usable in a pinch. The rate of fire was also fairly good. I could have gone faster within my comfort level, but it was a good speed to headshot both on the move and from hover. Out of the 2 builds I found the equilibrium to be the most useful, as making proper use of the hover requires either a lot of skill or a lot of practice to get right without being too exposed, whereas the equilibrium helps for those forward pushes, 5% for the scope to mid-range hits and 10% for the close hip fire shots. I've heard great things about the Ushior, and its damage speaks for itself, being a cross between a Darn and an Ushior in the shape of a pistol. I purposefully left it till last as it has the best chance of being a great weapon. Let's look at those beastly stats. The damage is an utterly humongous 706, the rate of fire is a pitiful 70, but don't worry, the rate of fire doesn't matter as it's only got 1 shot per clip. With a max ammo 24, that sounds small, but at a glance I think out of the 5 it's the second best for cumulative damage based on the ammunition, with only the Phalanx beating it. That is to say, the ammunition is stored damage. The accuracy is the best of the 5 pistols at 70, and the weight is the highest at a beast mode 18. Now, out of all the things we want to fix, you may think clip size is the best, and it is possible to get enough buffs to double it to 2, but with such a low rate of fire, we can do better. This is one of the few guns that really makes use of things like the shield oscillator. It gives you 25% shields on clip empty. This gun gives you 25% shields per shot with that augment. This could also be a great weapon for any power user. Put the power booster augment in to get 20% power damage on full clip. So in having this equipped you have a constant 20% extra power damage with a huge shot ready for when you need an emergency kit of death. As this is a unique weapon, we're going to do a number of tests. We know the vintage will be a difficult one with this, taking up the special augment slot isn't a good deal with a 1 bullet mag. The bioconverter however could be useful if your regeneration is top notch, but I would say this is only properly usable if you use life support and team support to its full effect by also using tech skills with it, but I'll test the build with bio to see how bad it is without the tech skills. First build is equilibrium, double mod extension, 2 kinetic coils. Second is bioconverter, double mod and 2 coils. Third will be shield oscillator, plasma charge, double mod and kinetic coil. Fourth will be sticky grenade, double mod extension and 2 kinetic coils. And the fifth and last, a pocket sniper with a seeking plasma system, plasma charge system, bioconverter and double mod extension. The field test showed something straight away that made me smile. I had 2 shots in the clip. This means that it doesn't have a clip size of 1, it has 1 and a bit, meaning it will likely go up through the ranks more, and with all clip size mods and buffs may result in up to a 4 or 5 shot clip, which would be insane. The shots were powerful and instant, very responsive weapon, the equilibrium worked well. The bioconverter actually made this gun insane, was so powerful but also proved that without tech skills and life support you will die, as I did from using it too much. The plasma charge was a huge surprise, I held no hope for this, but it is the first weapon I've been truly impressed with it. The shots being so powerful makes the charge aspect worth more. The charge seems to work on a percentage as far as damage goes, so the bigger the damage, the less shots to get the damage, the less time charging for that damage. So yeah, charged plasma shots actually appeared to do more damage than a Darn at same rank and such. The shots being so powerful makes the charge aspect worth more. The charge seems to work on percentage as far as damage goes, so the bigger the damage, the less shots to get the damage, the less time charging for that damage. So yeah, charged plasma shots actually appear to do more damage than a Darn of the same rank and such. I'll definitely need to face these two off and factor in reloading, etc, of course. The sticker grenade load the damage by a good 30% of the standard stacked shot. This would be worth it as far as AoE goes, but as the plasma charge is AoE, you're better off with that. The last pocket sniper build, the plasma charge and seeking system, was underwhelming really. At the range you can aim correctly, you don't need the seeking system. The scope of a pistol just isn't enough, making the sniper build a little pointless. In conclusion, plasma charge, plasma charge, plasma charge, plasma charge. So my top picks today might be somewhat easy to work out, at least one of them anyway. If you want a pistol that is well balanced and of decent use early on without the need of big bells and whistles, the Phalanx is a real option. It's just so well balanced between its stats, I'm surprised I haven't heard more about it in the comments. These Sidewinder and Carniflex are two extremes separated by preference. In truth, pistols like these are meant as sidearms. They aren't your primary weapon, they are meant as a backup, they are light so it's convenient. The only true top pick here that stands out in more than just this subcategory of pistols is the Ushior. This gun mixed with a plasma charge system and either bioconverter if you're a heavy tech power user or shield oscillator if you're not, double mod extension kinetic core to top, is a force to be reckoned with and needs further comparison outside of its class. This has been one of the more fun to make. The pistols were all very different, kind of a something for everyone type deal. If you disagreed with anything or thought I missed something, then please let me know. I'd love to discuss alternative ideas. If you liked this guide or it helped you at all, hitting the like button is the quickest way to let me know. But being specific in the comments really helps me work out what to keep and what to get rid of in these guides. Melee weapons are next, marking the last of the weapons field tests and showcase series with armour to come after it. I have so many more videos that have been patiently waiting till I've finished these, including a revisit to the original Augments guide. Thanks for watching folks, have an awesome day.